it's brought back lots of memories.
Can't believe all the things that we had forgotten, and now it's right back there again, and we're back there thinking of some great days. I remember as a small boy, my father and mother owned a farm, and those were such fun times. I enjoyed riding on the horses back home from the field. My dad would let us ride in and hang on to the collar horns, and he'd let us ride on the machines when we were old enough to do that, it was wonderful.
I grew up in Bayport, Minnesota, which is South Stillwater, it used to be called. My father's father came from Italy, and my mother's parents came from New York, and she used to knit in the moonlight. She was blind, but there isn't a whole lot that I can lay my hands on.
We met because Bev was early. Bev has never been late in all the years I've known her.
I'm always on time.
One time she was late because I think she was sick, but she's always been early. So I hitched a ride, hitchhiked, believe it or not, from Freiburg, North Dakota. That's next to the Montana border out by Medora. Anyway, I hitchhiked to go to the junior-senior prom at St. Catherine's with Margaret Gornick, who was Bev's roommate.
We were living off campus.
They were living with the Kohler family
Yes.
off campus, and
We weren't supposed to.
And when I got to the house there, the fellow I rode in from Bismarck, I caught a ride with another St. Kate's date boyfriend who drove in with his fast Chrysler. We sped into St. Paul in about 5 hours, and we the next night we got there, and Bev's date was there, and so
Don Hansel.
Don Hansel, yeah, in his white tux, and Bev came down the stairs in her white formal gown and gave him the biggest
strap over the shoulder
the biggest hug, and immediately I was envious. I had no idea that Margaret had such a beautiful roommate.
John, I'll never forget when John ran away from home one time. He ran away from home across the alley, and there was no house there. And he'd
take a half step and kind of cock his head and wonder if we're watching. And he hoped somebody would see him running away and then come after him.
And well, I did.
Which we finally did.
I told him, I said, I'll cry like a baby if you ran away. And he said, you would? So, and then Jim, I'll never forget one time when he threw a fit. What was it for?
Gosh. Well, he wanted me to let him help push the car.
Yes.
I got stuck just below the hill on Oakley Street where 54th Avenue crosses, and we were trying to turn up the hill, and I couldn't make the hill, so I backed down, and then I couldn't get started, and I was trying to rock the car myself, and he wanted to help, and I was afraid he'd get under that rear wheel.
Yeah.
I finally threw him inside and
brought him home.
And
I put him in the bathtub.
And
he said that's a good treatment for tantrums. I don't know if it is, though.
But he
never forgot that.
We finally got him to laugh. We changed the subject enough times so we something came up that was kind of funny, and once he started laughing, he was okay.
And Tom never had anything real funny, except, did I tell you about how he got his dog?
No.
Oh, Well, Ray, you can tell this better than I can.
Well, he hadn't learned to read yet. He probably was in kindergarten
Kindergarten.
or pre-kindergarten. It might have been before he started school, but anyway, he knew a few words and he knew what how dog was spelled. And he said, "How can we find out where there's a dog?" And I said, "Well, we just have to look at the want ads in the newspaper." So we got out the paper and I said, "Here's dogs." And then he says, "Well, what kind of dogs?" So I had to go down the list and mention each story. They all have a reason why that dog will be such a great pet. Or anyway, when I said husky, he said, "Oh, I want a husky." And it was a dog that was a combination German Shepherd, husky, and some other mix. And
2 or 3.
we went up to the west of here, 5 miles out in the country a little bit, the edge of town, and found this litter of pups. And he saw this one particular one. He just loved it, the color of it and everything. So
That was Bruno.
it looked like a collie. And so, yeah, that was Bruno. As soon as we got him home, he named him Bruno. I can't remember why he named it.
I don't know either.
But he named it Bruno, and he had a lot of fun with it over the years.
Yeah. Bruno barked at every person that went by. So we knew if anybody was going by that Bruno would discover it.
One of the neighbors got his BB gun out and shot him. And we found the BB underneath his skin inside one of his back legs, but nobody ever admitted to it, but we have a hunch.
Yeah.
who
May he rest in peace.
If you had to live one day over again without changing anything, what would it be?
Well, I was thinking of a day not so long ago. A year ago, Beverly had an 80th birthday party over in the fireside room, and it was out on the courtyard. It was a nice sunny day, and we had a wonderful party here. All of her relatives were able to come up from Bayport area, and a few. Well, I didn't have too many make it for mine, but from my side. But anyway, we had this wonderful party, and the kids were all here the next day. The kids were still in town, so we were sitting around the big table here having tacos. And I said to you, this is the first time we've all been around this table in 15 years, and that was for our 40th wedding anniversary. Roughly. Anyway, they all ran for their cameras, and they knew that this was a moment we'll want in our albums also. And then we sat there telling stories. They were telling stories, the fun things, a lot of the stuff that we're trying to put together right now. They were doing on their own and laughing and having such a good time.
We remember Jimmy used to run around the table, that big table there. He would just run, and what did he do? Tap it on the...
On each chair, he'd hit the chair leg, and then he'd go to the next one, and round and round. He was about 4, I suppose. Oh, gosh.